Yeah, you can start, Madhya, when you're ready.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा. Today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 7. The Lord begins his tour of South India. Text 1. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began very compassionate towards a Brahmana named Vasudeva, cured him of leprosy. He transformed him into a beautiful man, satisfied with the devotional service. I offer my respectable obeisances unto the glorious Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 2. All glories Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Text 3. After delivering Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the Lord desired to go to the South Indian to preach. Text 4. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted a renounced order during the waxing fortnight of the month of Magha. During the following month, Palguna, he went to Jagannath Puri and resided there. Text 5. At the end of the month of the Palguna, he witnessed the Dhola Yatra ceremony, and in his usual ecstatic love of God, he chanted and danced in various ways on the occasion. Text 6. During the month of Chitra, while living at Jagannath Puri, the Lord delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and the beginning of the next month, Vishaka, he decided to go to the South India. Text 7-8. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called all his devotees together and holding them by the hand, humbly informed them, "You are all more dear to me than my life. I can give up my life, but to give up is difficult for me." Text 9. You are all my friends, and you have properly executed the duties of the friends by bringing me here to Jagannath Puri and giving me the chance to see Lord Jagannath in the temple. Text 10. I now beg all of you for one bit of charity. Please give me permission to leave for a tour of South India. Text 11. I shall go to search out Vishwarupa. Please forgive me, but I want to go alone. I do not wish to take anyone with me. Text 12. Until I return from Setubandha, all of you, dear friends, should remain at Jagannath Puri. Text 13. Knowing everything, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was aware that Vishwarupa had already passed away. A pretense of ignorance was necessary, however, so that he could go to the South India and liberate the people there. Text 14. Upon hearing this message from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees became very unhappy and remained silent with sootland faces. Text 13. Nityananda Prabhu then said, "How is it possible for you to go alone? Who can tolerate this?" Text 16. Let one or two of us go with you. Otherwise, you may fall into the clutches of thieves and rogues along the way. They may be whomever you like, but two persons should go with you. Text 17. Indeed, I know all the paths to the different places of pilgrimage in South India. Just order me and I shall go with you. Text 18. The Lord replied, I am simply a dancer, and you are the wire puller. However, you pull the wires to make me dance, I shall dance in that way. Text 19. After accepting the sannyasa order, I decided to go to Vrindavan, but you took me instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu. Text 20. While on the way to Jagannath Puri, you broke my sannyasi staff. I know that all of you have great affection for me, but such thing disturbed my activities. Text 21. Jagadananda wants me to enjoy bodily sense gratification, and out of fear, I do whatever he tells me. Text 22. If I sometimes do something against his desire out of anger, he will not talk to me for 3 days. Text 23. Being a sannyasi, I have a duty to lie down on the ground and to take a bath 3 times a day, even during the winter. But Mukunda becomes very unhappy when he sees my severe austerities. Text 24. Of course, Mukunda does not say anything, but I know that he is very unhappy within, and upon seeing him unhappy, I become twice as unhappy. Text 25. Although I am in the renounced order of life and Damodar is a brahmachari, he still keeps a stick in his hand just to educate me. Text 26. According to Damodar, I am still a neophyte as far as social ethic is considered. Therefore, he does not like my independent nature. Text 27. Damodar Pandit and others are more advanced in receiving the mercy of Lord Krishna. Therefore, they are independent of public opinion. As such, they want me to enjoy sense gratification even though it is unethical. But since I am a poor sannyasi, I cannot abandon the duties of the renounced order, and therefore I follow them strictly. Text 28. You should all therefore remain here in Nilachal for some days while I tour the sacred places of pilgrimage alone. Text 29. Actually, the Lord was controlled by the good qualities of all his devotees on the pretense of attributing faults. He tasted all these qualities. Text 30th. No one can properly describe Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu affection of his devotees. He always tolerated all the kinds of personal unhappiness resulting from his acceptance of the renounced order of life. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhya. Krishna. So it's a simple section. There are only one verse has a purport in this section. So we'll go through. This is a nice section.
You want me to read more, Prabhuji?
Yes, Madhya?
You want me to read more? If you
No, it's okay. Yeah. Okay. After we finish, if there's time, we can read again, Madhya.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So this is basically this is a nice section of Madhya Lila where Lord Chaitanya's South India tour is being described. If you recollect, Lord Chaitanya's life on this planet was about 48 years. And out of 48 years, first 24 years was before he took sannyas. And the next 24 years was after he took the sannyas. So we heard that Adi Lila is primarily the description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life before sannyas. And then Madhya Lila, one of the prominent thing that happens is the first 6 years of his sannyas life, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu travels in preaching. And then the later 18 years, he spends the time at Jagannath Puri only. So this 6 years tour is travel is being described now. First travel is to South India now. So this is an interesting section of the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, especially Madhya Lila. This portion of the travel and preaching is filled with instructions and exemplary behavior of Lord Chaitanya for practicing devotees also. So now let's go through a few verses. So like we know, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami summarizes the whole chapter with essence of the chapter with the first verse. That's what he's doing here. What is he saying? First of all, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very compassionate, being very compassionate toward a Brahmana named Vasudeva. He cured him of leprosy. This is one of the last pastimes we'll see in this chapter, basically, during his travels. He goes to a place called Kurma Kshetra. That's where he delivered this Vasudeva Brahmana from leprosy. And then he takes places also another Brahmana, Kurma Brahmana is also called. Now, he says, he transformed that Vasudeva not only from leprosy, but he transformed into a beautiful man, satisfied with bhakti, devotion service. In fact, for practicing devotees, that is the ultimate mercy. Ultimate mercy we receive is to be able to do devotion service. Not our health becomes better, or we get more money, or our office life becomes easier, or get a good husband, good wife, good children. Not like that. Our ultimate mercy is we're treated in proper devotion service. So that's what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him, it seems. So then, as usual, he glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Now he's continuing the storyline. From third verse onwards, he's telling the story. He's saying, after remember previous chapter, we heard all about how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was an impersonalist background. He was even teaching sannyasis of impersonalist Shankara sannyasis also. So such a person became a nice devotee. So after delivering that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Lord wanted to go to South India to preach, it seems. So, like I said, there are no purports for this except for one verse. So we'll go through this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas order during the waxing fortnight of the month of Magha. Basically, what these few verses are describing is a short sequence. Essentially, right after he took sannyasa, just within few months, he started going out to travel. That's what is being highlighted here. So, in the month of Magha, he got sannyas. And the next month, he went to Jagannath Puri and resided there. And in the following month, in the same month when he was at Jagannath Puri, he witnessed the Dola Yatra festival, it seems. I don't know what that means. If anybody knows, you can share. And then he was ecstatic with love of God, and he chanted and danced in various ways on the occasion, it seems. That's another characteristic we'll see throughout the Madhya Lila, especially during this travel time. This is one of the important characteristics we can observe about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's chanted and danced in various ways. In fact, in this chapter, we'll hear how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chants that mantra we normally hear. Krishna, 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 Hey. That also comes up in this chapter later on. So, and then in the following month, Chaitra month, he delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, which is what we saw in the last chapter. And the next month, Vaishakha, he decided to go to South India. That means he didn't spend many months at all. As soon as he came to Jagannath Puri, in 2-3 months, he went to started for traveling to South India. That is one principle, one detail to know, remember. Because that's why we say when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas at 24 years of age, after that he traveled for 6 years, like that is said. It's not said, oh, he stayed in Jagannath Puri for 1 year and then he went to like that. Not like that. That means very shortly he went. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called all his devotees together and holding them by hand, humbly informed them. So interestingly, see, he invited all the devotees and is humbly informing them, you're all more dear to me than my life. I can give up my life, but to give you up is difficult for me. So he's expressing his affection for his devotees. And he's saying that you're all my friends and you have properly executed the duties of friends. How? By bringing me here to Jagannath Puri and giving me the chance to see Lord Jagannath temple. So what can we learn from here? As friends, we also help each other in receiving mercy of Supreme Lord, mercy of the devotees, like that. That's how we can help each other. So here, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very appreciative that they brought him to Jagannath Puri, and he got an opportunity of mercy of seeing Lord Jagannath here in this case. Now he says, I want to beg you, see how he's requesting. I now want to beg for one bit of charity. Please give me permission to leave for a tour of South India. So that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood towards the devotees. He's asking them permission to leave, not telling them, you know what, I'm going to tour of South India now. He's not talking like that. He's asking them permission to leave for a tour of South India. Remember, if you remember in the previous chapters also, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Advaita Acharya's home, when Nityananda Prabhu diverted him there, before he was planned to go to Vrindavan, then when he was ready to go to Vrindavan also, he asked like the permission from everyone to go to Vrindavan like that. Then his mother told him, please go to Jagannath Puri instead like that. So now he is saying that I shall go to Sachot Vishwarupa. Who is Vishwarupa? That is his elder brother of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, please forgive me, but I want to go alone. I do not wish to take anyone with me. So the 2 points here. One is he's using the excuse of going to Sachot for Vishwarupa, but his actual intention is to do preaching in South India. Second request is he wants to go alone. In the next set of several verses, it becomes clear because he will express why he wants to go alone like that. That we'll find out. That is a major portion of today's section also. Then he says, until I return back from Setubandha, this is the place in the southern part of India, right? That where Lord Rama built the bridge with the help of monkeys. So he says, you all of you should remain at Jagannath Puri till I come back like that. Knowing everything, Sri Chaitanya was aware that Vishwarupa had already passed away. A pretense of ignorance was necessary, however, so that he could go to South India and liberate the people there. So this is the point I was telling, that for the pretext of, for the preaching purpose, he used the pretext of searching for his brother Vishwarupa like that. Though he's omniscient, he knows everything, he's not there. But when all the devotees heard that Lord Chaitanya wants to leave them alone, he wants to go alone to South India, then they became very unhappy and they remained silent as described. But Nityananda Prabhu spoke up. What did he say? He said, how is it possible for you to go alone? Who can tolerate this? I mean, it's difficult for them to see Lord Chaitanya going alone. Why? Because he might get into different difficulties that he will describe now in coming verses. He says, Nityananda Prabhu is requesting now, let one or two of us go with you also. Otherwise, what will happen? He will tell few reasons now. You may fall into the clutches of thieves and rogues along the way. So you need somebody to protect you like that. And he says, it can be anyone you like, any two of us you like, but 2% should go with you like that he was saying. That means he doesn't have preference. I should go, this person should go like that. But he wants to make sure Lord Chaitanya is protected like that. So that's why he's asking like that. Now, he says, indeed, I know all the past different places of pilgrimage in South India. Just order me and I shall go with you. Previous verses, he says, you can take any two people. Now, in this verse, he's saying, actually, I'm the best person to come with you because I have gone into pilgrimage to all the places in South India. So I can direct, I know the directions I can show you like that, he's saying basically. Remember how this happened? Nityananda Prabhu, when he was small, one sannyasi came to their home and then he asked charity to have this Nityananda to go with him, right? That is what is it referring to? That's why Nityananda Prabhu went to traveling different places of pilgrimage with the sannyasi as assistant, brahmachari. Then the Lord replied, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, what did he say? I am simply a dancer. You are the wire puller. That means he's talking about puppet dance. That puppets dance with somebody pulling strings behind them. However you pull the wires to make me dance, I shall dance in that way. So he's saying like that. So this is actually is trying to complain in a gentle way. He's saying that you make me dance all the time. Uh, I'm just in your hands. And he gives examples of how that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the next verses. He's saying, after accepting sannyasa, I decided to go to Vindavana, but you took me instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu. Remember that past time where he told that that side is the Vrindavan like that. Then that is one incident he's saying. Second incident is, while on the way to Jagannath Puri, you broke my sannyas danda, sannyas staff. I know that all of you have great affection for me, but such things disturb my activities. What things will disturb his activities? Out of affection for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what they're doing that will disturb, is going to explain those things now, next set of verses. That's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes. All Chaitanya Chaitamsa goes. Some conclusion in a verse and then elaboration of that verse like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing how one of his associates, Jagadananda Pandit, he wants Lord Chaitanya to enjoy bodily sense gratification. And out of fear, I do whatever he tells me. That means because Jagadananda wants him to enjoy sense gratification. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to follow strict sannyasi principles. They both don't go together. But because of fear of Jagadananda Prabhu becoming upset, he will do whatever he tells me he's saying. One example we saw about this, I don't know if we saw already or it's coming up. It may be coming up. Basically, the pastime is that Jagadananda Prabhu brings a pot of sandalwood oil and then he wants Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to use it. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I am sannyasi. How can you use such expensive, luxurious sandalwood oil? So please give it to Jagannath temple so they can light the lamps for Jagannath, like that he says. So Jagadananda finds out from servant later on that Lord Chaitanya did not use it. So he comes and breaks the pot of sandalwood oil like that. And then he pouts for a few days. Like that. That is what is referring to here coming up. And he says, if I sometimes do something against his desire, like this example we discussed, out of anger, he will not talk to me for 3 days. Not only will not talk, he will not eat also that time. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to go and take care of him. Then he will eat. In that pastime, he will tell Jaga, please get up and cook for me, so that I am fasting for last few days. Please come and cook for me like that. Then Jagadananda Prabhu wants to serve Lord Chaitanya all the time. So he stops his pouting and then he cooks for him like that. That's how that sweet pastime ends. So now he's saying, so that's how Jagadananda Prabhu wants him to enjoy like that. But being a sannyasi, I have a duty to lie down on the ground and to take bath 3 times a day, even during the winter. But this is another associate. He described about Jagadananda Prabhu first. And then now he's talking about Mukunda. Mukunda becomes very unhappy when he sees my severe austerities like that. Because they don't want to see Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing austerities like everybody else. That is their unhappiness. Then he's saying, of course, Mukunda does not say anything. Externally, he doesn't speak that, oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you performing all this austerity? He doesn't say anything. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that he's very unhappy with him. So then, because by seeing Mukunda unhappy, he becomes more unhappy, it seems twice as unhappy. So then he's saying, now he talked about Jagadananda Pandit, Mukunda, how basically if they are there, how they will act in different ways is describing. Now we discuss about Damadara. Although I'm in the renounced order of life, and Damadara is actually brahmachari, he still keeps a stick in his hand, just to educate me. What he's telling is, normally brahmacharis are supposed to assist sannyasis. They just follow sannyasis order. Not that brahmacharis will order sannyasis like that. So, but in this case, Damodar brahmachari is actually ordering him, it seems, educating him, it seems, with the stick in his hand, like that is describing. So we'll hear more about it. He says, according to Damodara, I'm still a neophyte as far as social etiquette is concerned. Therefore, he doesn't like my independent nature. That means he tries to teach him etiquette, is saying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he describes Damodar Pandita, that means same person. He was describing Damodara here, same person. Damodar Pandita and others are more advanced in receiving the mercy of Lord Krishna. Therefore, they are independent of public opinion. This is actually important. Oh, this verse also has brief purport. Why is he saying this? When devotees are very advanced, they care about serving Krishna more than about this social thing, that social thing, like that. Of course, for practicing devotees, we should pay attention to the etiquette and the social, what others will think also, we should pay attention. Well, even though service to Krishna is topmost for us also, but we should pay attention whenever there's no conflict in following things that are important and set an example for us. We do those also along with our devotion service. But when they're coming in conflict with devotion service, we may discard them. But as much as possible, we follow them also. But he is describing the Damodar Pandita is more advanced like that. That's why he's not caring that he's brahmachari, he needs to not instruct sannyasi like that. All he cares about is serving Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the point he's making. As such, they, means all these people, they want me to enjoy sense gratification, even though it be unethical. Unethical means against the general principles of sannyas, which is like austerities, like that. But since I'm a poor sannyasi, I cannot abandon the duties of renounced order, and therefore I follow them strictly. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to follow strictly sannyas vows so that it sets a right example for all of us. All of us means all of us can follow our ashrama and varna duties properly, like that. Then he says, that is why, because everybody wants Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to enjoy, not do austerities, and they're unhappy by seeing him doing austerities. That's why he's saying, you should all therefore remain here in Nilachala. Nilachala is another name for Jagannath Puri. For some days, while I to the sacred place of pilgrimage alone. So, in response to Nityananda Prabhu's request that at least two of us to go, maybe I can go like that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained all these things, that how you all want me to enjoy it. You don't want like to see me doing austerities, but I need to follow my sannyas regular principles. So let me go. You guys stay here. Like that is telling. Now, actually, the Lord was controlled by the good qualities of all his devotees. On the pretense of attributing faults, he tasted all these qualities. This purport, Sri Prabhupada chose to write the purport for this verse. Is important because even though externally it appears that Lord Chaitanya is not happy that devotees are not letting him follow sannyasa related principles, they want him to enjoy, they don't want him to do austerities like that. But actually, by his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is appreciating their good qualities in the pretense of attributing faults to them. What does this mean? Why are they wanting to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to enjoy sense gratification? Why they don't want Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to do austerities? Because they love him so much and they cannot see him doing austerities. So that's a good quality they have. They have attachment, strong attachment to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's what he is appreciating now. Yeah. And another point being described here is because they love Lord Chaitanya so much, even though Lord Chaitanya loves to follow sannyas regulated principles, sometimes he breaks that regulations to please them, it seems. That is the point being made. For example, we'll see a common pastime is he will eat a lot of food. Normally he eats very little food. But to satisfy a devotee, like Jagdananda Prabhu, I was discovering one pastime. So after the potting is over, he wants to feed him Lord Chaitanya a lot of food. Then Lord Chaitanya will keep on eating, thinking that if I stop eating, Jagdananda Prabhu will be unhappy. And of course, he's Supreme Lord. That's why he can have unlimited capacity to eat also. So that's one example. How he's making the principles he wanted to follow, seeing the love of his devotees like that. Then Yeah, this is the purport. The last sentence of the purport gives us the instruction. As long as we are in this material world, we must observe social customs to avoid criticism by the general populace. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. This is the what I was explaining, that as long as the social customs don't clash with our devotion service, we can follow them as much as possible to set a right example for others, so not to disturb others like that. But if something is contrary with the devotion service, we should make devotion service the highest priority and try to adjust with something else like that instead. So the last verse for today. Oh, we're already 132. Okay. No one can properly describe Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's affection for his devotees. He always tolerated all kinds of personal happiness resulting from his acceptance of sannyas order, renounced order of life. So he was he had so much affection for his devotees. That's what we're hearing. So we'll pause here. We'll continue from 31st verse in next session. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's offer obeisance to devotees. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.